Hello people! Today we're doing a 420 Easter set. So let's go. I'm using a set of medium squares for these. And I'm starting off on the thumb with a coat of black. I know this is not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but I felt compelled to do this, as I've said before. Alright, and then we are moving on to a couple of them that are going to be yellow. Now, I think I didn't hit record on the plain yellow ones, but this one is going to be striped with the green, yellow, and red. I have chosen the Rasta colors for these. That one is going to go into cure right away because we're going to have to add more to it. And then we have a red one. The index finger and the pinky are both going to be yellow, but you didn't get to see those. And you're not seeing much of this one because I'm out of shot. And unfortunately, I'm out of shot on a lot of stuff on this one. I do not know what happened. I'm really sorry. Okay, those are going into cure. And when we get that stripy one back out, we will be adding the green stripe. Now see how my red went over on the yellow a little bit? Okay, we're going on to the second coat now. This part I think I did speed up. When we get to that stripy one, you're going to see me spending a lot of time trying to get that yellow stripe back to being yellow all the way and cover that red. And I spent a lot of time getting that straightened out, only to cover it up with the bunny head that we're going to paint on there later. So I don't know why I did that. Clearly I didn't think it through well enough. I could have just left it as it was. Okay, maybe I didn't speed this part up. I tried to speed up everything I could because this one's a little longer. Okay, and then that's all for the black. We will be going in. Okay, now here's where I start the journey of trying to straighten this part out. I just don't know why I spent so much time on this. Clearly, my perfectionism kicked in for this one. See, there's still red showing through, which I could have just left and it would have been perfectly fine. But I had to keep playing with it. And now it's too thick right there, and it's going to end up wrinkling if I don't smooth it out some. And now it's uneven again, so now we have to go over the whole thing again. That one stripy one gave me trouble. The rest of the stuff was easy. Okay, our second coat of yellow. Okay, this does look like I've sped this part up. Those are the two you didn't get to see, and didn't get to see the pinky on this one still. And we just have the red to deal with. And then the rest of that stripy now. Second coat of those. This is one of the reasons I don't like to work with red, because if you mess up with it, and you have to wipe it off, it never comes all the way off. It stains whatever's under there. Okay, those all have gone into cure. Now here I go playing around with this one some more, which is totally unnecessary, as I said. I wasn't happy that it didn't have a smooth, the yellow wasn't smooth looking. And I just proceeded to just make it worse and worse. Now you could use this as a regular Easter set if you just switch the colors out and left the smoke that we're going to do off and the little pot leaf that's going to go on. Alright, that's going to go in for its cure, and here we go. We're going to do the smoke effect on this black one, and I'm going to cover the whole nail with blooming gel. You want to cover the whole thing even if you're only going to work on a little part of it, so you can keep your level the same of your polish. If you just do little sections of little parts and you keep adding to those, it gets raised up higher and higher, and then you've got ridges when you're trying to have a nice smooth nail. Okay, you're going to use white. Now this is a super easy way to do smoke. Now I really should have used my detailer brush to add this on because I kind of got a little too much white in here. But we're going to do that. Then I'm going to use my detailer brush and kind of go through that white and kind of spread it out a little more and make some more little like smoky tendrils coming up, if you will. And once I am happy with what I've done with this, I will just let it sit there and bloom out. I believe I let it sit for about a minute and finish blooming because I really wanted it to bloom out a lot. Especially, what I really should have done, frankly, is wiped it off and started again because I had way too much white. But after about a minute had passed, which you're not seeing all of, then I did put it in there for curing. Not my best work for smoke effect, but most of that you're not going to see anyway. Okay, that is gone into cure. Now, moving on. Now we're switching over to the gel paints, starting with the white. And I am going to paint on all my Easter eggs with white first. And the reason for that is when I put the color over it, I want the colors to be true. And if I put them over other colors, like as you saw with the yellow trying to go over the red, it does not work very well. So I'm going to do all my little pieces, my Easter eggs white, and we'll also be doing the bunny head. Now this guy got a little bit off-centered, which I did not notice till later on. I really should have taken that one off and moved it over, but I did not. So now it is what it is. We're just going to put on something that's vaguely egg-shaped. And I'll put that back up. Okay, this one's back out. This one's going to have 2 eggs, one standing up and one kind of laying sort of sideways and kind of behind this one. Sorry, my throat is trying to close up on me here. Once again, I'm sorry I'm so far out of shot on most of these. I cut out a lot of stuff. That was out of shot. But you get the gist of what's happening. Excuse me. My asthma is not being a happy camper today. Okay, and now we have our 2 eggs, one in front, one laying down, sorta, kinda. That one is done. Well, maybe not. I decided to round off that bottom bit a little more, and once again, you're not going to totally see that part. Okay, moving on. this one will have 2 eggs. And even though this has all been cured, somehow red still wants to come off of there, as you can tell by my gloves. Later on too, I also had an issue with the top coat, which we'll talk about when we get that far. An issue involving the red. I did not speed up this part, which I guess I probably could have. Here's one. And here's the other one. That one looks more like a bean than an egg. Alright, I think we're done with that one. And on the pinky nail, there's going to be 2 eggs. They're just going to be just like the ones we just did, pretty much. They're just going to be smaller now. I meant to switch the one bigger egg to the pinky nail and put 2 on the other one, but I had already started painting it before I remembered I was going to switch them around. And then at that point, I didn't feel like wiping it off and doing it, so here we are. Now I'm using my detailer brush for these eggs because I can pick up more paint at once on my brush, as opposed to the striper brush, which I'm going to use for the outlining. And while we have a second, I will just say I think I have finally cracked the code on the outlining problem I've been having all this time. I've been using the striper brush for a lot more things lately, and I'm finding that the tip of it is got a much finer point than my detailer brush has. Even my good detailer brush that's pretty decent and small, I can get a much finer line with the striper brush. So I used that for all my outlining, which you'll see, and it went so much nicer and better. I was able to keep my lines nice and thin. So that's a game changer for me. I don't know why I never tried it before, but because I've been struggling all these years now with a detailer brush, trying to figure out how people are getting these nice thin lines. Now I know. So now you guys know, if you don't already. Of course, you may already have known. But that's going to be a huge deal for me. I think I'm going to tackle some more filigree kind of stuff coming up here soon, since I now know I can get my lines thinner. Okay, this FYI is part of the bunny head. That's where his head's peeking over the corner. Now we're going to do ears. I got this first ear on there. Got the second ear on, realized I didn't like the way the first one looked, so I'm going to take part of that one back off. I like that one being pointier at the bottom than the squared off part that I have on the other one, so I'm going to take the first one back off. And, oh, there's a cat hair on my glove. What else is new, right? But I don't know if it's the weather because it's been so hot lately, but boy, my cats have been hacking all over the place. And between the shedding of the hair now and everybody hacking, I don't know what's going on. But I've been spending my time cleaning up cat hair from everywhere and hack off of everything. usually the ones I find on the floor with my feet, which most likely are in slippers because I've learned not to walk around barefoot in the house anymore. Just for that very reason. Anyway, that's kind of gross. We don't need to talk about that anymore. Alright, now we've got the ears. I'm going to smooth them out a little because I've got some big blobby bits of paint in there. And then we will be ready to cure the rack. Here we go. That's where we are so far. And in it goes and back out. Okay, now I'm going to do a whole second coat on the bunny because I wanted him nice and white and I didn't want any of those undercolors showing through. And now you can see why I didn't need to spend all that time cleaning up that stripy bit at the bottom of here because I've completely covered it over now. Sometimes I get so fixated on the thing I'm trying to fix or the thing I'm doing that I don't think it through like farther down the line of what's going to happen and realize, wait, I don't need to be doing this. Anyway, all the eggs, they're not going to get a second coat of white because they're going to be covered with colors. But the bunny's going to stay white, so I wanted him to be nice and solid. And somehow my ears seem to grow a little bit bigger as I was painting them again. Alright, now we're going to cure that one. In the meantime, we're going to start with, I took a tiny little bit of that red, mixed it into the white gel paint. It's still too dark for what I wanted. I'm trying to make the color for the inside of the bunny ears. So I'm going to add another blob of white to it. Problem was I didn't start with enough white in the first place. But there we go. Now we've got a nice light pink shade I can use for the inner ears. And we're going to go ahead. He came out from being cured, and we're going to go ahead and add this on. Which you can't see, but you will see when I do the second ear. There we go. Sorry. And once we get this on, okay, we're going to use that same pink, and I'm going to get my dotting tool, and we're going to put his nose on, kind of a bigger dot for the nose. And then we're getting black, which we're going to dot his eyes on there. Now see, that if you don't let it, like let the string come off and then like suck back into there, it will fall off to the side, and now we got to clean that off. There we go. Okay, that's ready to cure. Now we've got green and we've got yellow. And we're going to go ahead and start painting our colors on here. This one, I'm going to do the Rasta color stripes, or kind of like concave or bowed out, whatever, going around the egg stripes. I'm thinking I should have stirred these paints up because of the yellow and the green. This is the first time I've used these two because I had just gotten another set of these recently, or not recently, but a while back. Because I was missing colors and I was tired of having to pull in other colors from gel polish instead. So, plus I was almost out of the black and the white, so I just got a fuller set of these that has 12 colors instead of 6. So now I should be good. Okay, I am going to be curing these as I go, each nail, and we're going to be bouncing back and forth between the nails. This one is going to be zigzag, have the zigzag pattern. Now, I didn't start off for this to be what it came out to be, but as you will see as we're going along, it's going to start to look rather Freddy Krueger-ish because it's going to be green and red, and with these stripes, that's all I could think about when I was after I started putting the color in it. I was okay with just the green, but once I added the red, I'm like, geez, this looks like Freddy. And surprisingly, I know that because I do not watch those kind of movies at all, so I just do not care for them. Right now it looks a little rough, but it will get straightened out as we're going. I will make my points. I'll make my points better on the zigzaggy parts, which you now can't see because we're out of shot yet again. Okay, and we're going to have the bottom of this too. After I finish with this one. Yeah, see how the green is a little bit streaky? I think I needed to mix it up, and I did not do that. I just opened it up and started painting with it. Okay, we're going to get our little pointy bits of this straightened out here. Well, at least a little better than they were. Then we're going to go in do the bottom. It's going to be the bottom section of the egg all the way down to the bottom after this part. Sorry, I hate to keep clearing my throat like that, but if I don't, I'm going to have a coughing fit, and I don't want to do that either. That's worse. And we shall just fill this one in. Alright, now I'm going to go back on the top part and try to get those pointy bits to look a little better than they do. I think I was in a bit of a hurry when I first started this one. Okay, that one's ready to go into cure. Now we're back to the first one, and we're going to do the middle section, which is going to be yellow on here. You definitely want to cure each color, or at least flash them in between, so that they're not blending together when you're trying to paint. And then this bottom egg will be entirely yellow. It's going to end up having polka dots on it, as you guys know already since you've seen the finished picture. Yeah, that is a bit too much paint now. Should have took some of that back off. Now you can let your gel paint sit if you wanted to cure like a whole rack at one time, but since I'm going back and forth painting different colors together, I'm not doing it like that. The gel paint will not run. It's not like if I was doing this with gel polish, then yeah, it will start to spread out, so you want to cure those right away, but the gel paint can sit if it needs to. It's not going to go anywhere. Okay, that one's ready to go back in. I'm moving back onto this one. Now we're going to add in the red. This is where it turns into Freddy Krueger. And I was trying to be very careful not to screw anything up with the red, because as you guys already know, it's a real pain in the butt to get back off if you've got to wipe it off. You can almost never get all of it off. It will stain. On the other hand, if you're using it to cover over stuff, it does work pretty well for that. I probably could have used my striper brush for these this delicate part, but since I had the detailer brush already out, that's what I went with. While you're watching me paint this, I have no idea what I'm going to do next time. It's probably going to be something, well, I don't know, I shouldn't say because I may change my mind. It may have flowers, let's just leave it at that. I'm in a flowery mood now for spring. And unfortunately, summer is coming up faster than I would like. So I need to get all my spring flower stuff done before I have to switch over to summer. It may as well be summer here already. It's been in the 90s this week again. I am so not looking forward to summer. As you guys hear me complain every time, I hate it so much. Alright, there's our Freddy Krueger egg. He's going to go in and cure. And we're back to this one where we're going to add the red part, the last red bit to this stripy one. And painstakingly slow moving. Alright, now we're going to add red polka dots to this yellow one with the dotting tool. It kind of looks like a, I don't know, a mango maybe? Anyway, it looks a little wrinkly, but that'll sort itself out with the top coat. Moving on to this other one. This whole one here is going to be yellow. Now, in hindsight, I have some little pot leaf stickers, and I put one on the smoke nail. And I have little tiny ones. I really should have put one on one of the eggs as the decoration, but I didn't think about it until I was already past all that and I'd already painted all the eggs. But I think that would have been cute. Okay, that's it for that one. And this one is going to be all green. Frankly, these are not colors that I would be ever putting together for any kind of a regular set. With the exception of maybe a Christmas set with the red and the green, but I'll see how my green is kind of thin. Yeah, I really think that needed to be stirred up. The yellow was not like that. The yellow was like the opposite. It was really thick and super... just went right on there. No streaking or anything. So maybe all the liquidy part of the yellow was at the bottom and I had, because it was all right at the top where I took it from. Anyway, never mind, that's not important. But just try to smooth them out as best you can. That one's in, this one's back. And now I'm going to just do some real quick and easy grass. Like these eggs are sitting in the grass. That yellow one is looking more and more to me like a bean rather than an egg. But I'm just going to make some quick little grass bits. And then we're going to go down in this bottom bit. I'm kind of wishing I'd left this green off the bottom part of this, because then my sticker would showed up better. Not showed up, shown up better. Have you guys noticed people do not even attempt to speak properly anymore? That kind of irritates me. Anyway, that's neither here nor there for this. Moving on to the pinky. That one's going to be, I think that one's going to have all three colors, I think. This one's going to be striped with the three colors. Okay, this one's back out of curing, and we're just going to put yellow dots on this. Now the yellow's not seeming as thick as it was. Of course, it's trying to cover over green, which is going to be harder. Okay, that goes back to cure. Now we're back on this. I am doing black at the top and bottom of this one. And then the inner part will have the other two colors as just straight stripes. Now I have not cured yet because, oh, maybe I'm not doing three color stripes on that other one. Now I've forgotten what I've done. It looks like I'm just going to do one red in the middle of there. Okay, and then the last stripe of red on the bottom one. And then we should be able to move on to the outlining. And they look a little sloppy right now, but once they get outlined, they're going to look much better. And okay, now we're switching to the striper brush. And I've loaded black paint onto my palette. And we are going to be ready for this. Well, not only can I make a nice thin line, but the way it curves around is, it just kind of seems like it automatically wants to do it. It's much easier to control it, I find, doing it like this than with the detailer brush. So as I said earlier, this is a real game changer for me. I don't know why I never tried. I had striping brushes that I use occasionally when I'm making stripes, but it never occurred to me to use them for the outlining. Why, I don't know. I guess I have Queen Diana to thank for that, because as I've been watching so many of her videos lately, she uses her striper brush for almost everything, for pretty much all the nail art. So I guess that's what encouraged me to give it a try for the outlining, and lo and behold, it works. I mean, I know they don't look super thin right now because this is zoomed in and it's really close up, but on the finished nail, when you look at the actual nail, it does look much nicer. Okay, moving on to Freddy Krueger. Now, since I didn't get my paint all the way around the edge to cover up some of the white, we have to make sure we're covering the white up with the outline. Now, I didn't put any whiskers on my bunny. I'm thinking I could have with this easily. Thank goodness I wasn't having shaky hands this day, because that would have been a disaster. Now I'm just trying to even them out. Make sure I don't have any little bits sticking out, looking wobbly anywhere. Okay, moving on. Well, somehow the part where I painted the peace sign in there got cut. But obviously you can see there's a peace sign on the yellow one. Or unless I was talking over it when I painted that earlier and I didn't notice, but anyway, the peace sign reminds me of my Etsy shop, which I have named the Jovial Hippie. So if you guys ever want to check it out, you can check it out at the Jovial Hippie on Etsy. I have my resin stuff in there. I'm not selling any nails in there. It's all resin. So far, it's mainly jewelry. I think there's one or two things. There's some coasters, and then there's a cactus bowl in there. That's what I'm doing with my free time when I'm not doing nail stuff, in case you are interested. I just reorganized the whole section of my nail room for resin. It's now my nail and resin room. Well, it has been for a while now, but it was getting to be quite messy in here. I got myself a new stacking drawer, you know, on the rollers set. Like you guys have seen my rainbow ones I have all my nail junk in. And now I've got one that's got purple drawers. They're like gradient ones, going from light to dark, which is the whole reason I bought it, is because it was purple. Okay, now we're on to outlining the bunny. Anyway, I got all my resin stuff, well, not all of it, but most of it organized into there now, so I can access it more easily. So hopefully I can get on, maybe on Sunday I'll have time to get back in here and do something with that. As tomorrow I have to go, tomorrow being Saturday, I have to go out and do weeding in the yard. Saturday's generally my yard day. And I didn't do it last week because it was super windy and I didn't feel like sitting out there trying to weed in the wind. But considering we have had rain the last month or so, there has been a little rain, and then it's been super hot. The weeds have just gone insane and have grown like exponentially in a very short time. Alright. Oh, we're almost done with them. Like I said, I could have put whiskers on. I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't. Okay, going back, now we're on to the pinky. We just got to deal with these two. Sorry guys, I don't have a whole lot to talk. I don't want to just keep rattling on about random stuff because that's not what you guys are here for. So I think I've exhausted my limit of what I can talk about here now. Just as an FYI though, you guys, if I disappear off of YouTube all of a sudden and I'm gone for a while, just know that I will be back. Depending on what happens with my parents. At some point, we're probably going to have to move into their house, take care of my dad. And that's going to be a major adjustment for everybody. So I've been really stressing about that lately. So if that, when that happens, and I don't know when it's going to be. Okay, here we are so far. Those are going into cure. I don't know when it's going to be, but it will be coming at some point in probably the next couple years. I don't want you guys to think I just disappeared and quit. Now, for some reason, when I put... Oh, there it is. Okay. These are the stickers I use. I forgot to hit record when I was putting them on, and there it is right there. It does not show up over top of that grass, which is what I was saying. I should have left the bottom part of the grass off. Now we're going to top coat, going in here with the matte top. And I want to give it a nice thick coat so I don't end up with any streaky bits. Now, this is where I started to have a problem. Because I was brushing over this so much, when I got to the red, not so much on this one, but the bunny one, the red polish that was around that bunny ear started to streak down into the bunny, and I don't know why. It clearly had a tacky layer or something that was not either fully cured or I don't know, but you'll see when you see the finished one. But that really made me angry, and there was nothing I could do to fix it at that point other than painting over the white again, which I didn't want to do. Okay, now I'm going to go in. I've cured those. I'm going in with my tempered top coat, and I'm just going to gloss up where the sticker is in an effort to make the leaf more visible, which I don't know that it worked all that well. And I'm also going to go along all the eggs, because I decided at the last minute that I wanted the eggs to be shiny instead of the matte. My smoke now, however, it looks more like a splash now than smoke. I really wished I had started that over. Okay. Oh, we gotta smooth them out better. And I'm going to do that on all of them, and I am going to throw them in there to cure as soon as I get each one covered, because being that this is just top coat, it's not going to stay put. It's going to want to spread out. So I didn't want that happening. Hence the reason I just started sticking them all in there. Well, that one I didn't. Oh, I know why I did the first one too, because I had piled quite a lot of it on the leaf and I didn't want it to be running off of that. Okay, and we're going to go over the bunny too. See his ear? He's got a red streak across there now. And the pinky. And once we get this on here, we will be done. Okay, now the rest of those are going to cure. And oh, no, we're not done. I forgot I did a few crystals on here. Just a couple. I just wanted a few because a couple of these looked kind of bare. In hindsight, I'm thinking I could have put polka dots in the negative space and in the background, but I did not. That's probably what I should have done. Just left the crystals off. And I forgot to show you guys the crystals, but obviously I'm using red, green, and some tiny little black ones. I had pulled yellow out too, but then I didn't use those. And then I spent probably 10 minutes looking through all my crystals trying to find the black ones. I forgot that I had taken the whole box where I have all the black ones in out of there, and they're laying on the other side of my desk because I was still working on sorting out those black, smoky black ones, crystals that I got a while back that were all mixed sizes together. I still haven't finished that. And on this one, we're just going to do 3. The one I just finished, I kind of angled them down just a skosh because I wanted it to be kind of look like a choker. Not a full necklace, but just like a choker. Why, I don't know. That's just what came to mind. And I sort of kind of tried to do the same with this, but since there's only 3, it didn't fully work as well. Anyway, that's all I'm putting on that one. And there they are. Now we're done. And there it is, the 420 Easter set. I think it turned out okay. Not quite as well as what I'd liked. But if you guys like it, please give me a like. I really appreciate it, and it helps me out a lot. And if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. I upload a new tutorial every Saturday. That's it for now. See you guys next time. And I don't know what I'm going to do, but something. Bye-bye for now.